welcome to Daily Dictation. This is an interactive video to help you practice your English skills. We are going to practice English skills by writing down 5 sentences about the topic describing your home at a high intermediate level. As you write down each sentence, you'll be practicing your listening skills and your writing skills at the same time. After you write down the sentences, I will show you what the correct ones look like and explain the grammar of each sentence and any spelling tips and tricks to help you improve. This is a skill that is best developed if it's practiced every day. So there's new sentences each weekday, new topics each week, and 2 English levels offered to help you practice on a variety of topics. The instructions: you will need a blank piece of paper and a pencil. 5 sentences will be read. Each sentence will be read 3 times and 1 more time at the end. You have to write down each sentence exactly as you hear it, and you will use your listening skills to do that. Try your best to apply the correct spelling, punctuation, and capitalization. So you will see numbers 1 to 5 on the screen. Each number represents a different sentence that will be read. We'll start with sentence number 1. Number 1. My roommate and I love the aesthetic of the new coffee table. My roommate and I love the aesthetic of the new coffee table. My roommate and I love the aesthetic of the new coffee table. Number 2. The rental lease states that we must pay for utilities, so we keep track of our usage. The rental lease states that we must pay for utilities, so we keep track of our usage. The rental lease states that we must pay for utilities, so we keep track of our usage. Number 3. The layout and ambience of the apartment is perfect for hosting guests. The layout and ambiance of the apartment is perfect for hosting guests. The layout and ambiance of the apartment is perfect for hosting guests. Number 4. After the renovations, the house maintained its quaint charm. After the renovations, the house maintained its quaint charm. After the renovations, the house maintained its quaint charm. After the renovations, the house maintained its quaint charm. Number 5. We spent the weekend changing the decor in the bedroom. We spent the weekend changing the decor in the bedroom. We spent the weekend changing the decor in the bedroom. We spent the weekend changing the decor in the bedroom. I'm going to read each sentence one more time, starting with sentence number 1. My roommate and I love the aesthetic of the new coffee table. Number 2. The rental lease states that we must pay for utilities, so we keep track of our usage. Number 3. The layout and ambience of the apartment is perfect for hosting guests. Number 4. After the renovations, the house maintained its quaint charm. Number 5. We spent the weekend changing the decor in the bedroom. So that is the list of our vocabulary words for today. Let's have a look at what each sentence looks like. If you found that this video was a little bit too fast, you can listen again and adjust the playback speed to make it go slower. If you need to listen to specific sentence numbers again, just check the description for timestamps. Let's have a look at sentence number 1. My roommate and I love the aesthetic of the new coffee table. So for this one, the sentence itself is relatively simple. My roommate and I, we have two subjects with the conjunction there. So my roommate is one and I is the other one. And love is the verb because there are two people. We're not going to put the S here. We are going to keep it as love. The aesthetic is a noun, but the spelling itself is quite tricky because in English, this is not a regular order of letters, AES. So I would split it up and focus on AES first, then the word the, then tick. Of the new coffee table. So of, we have a preposition here, and then we're trying to use the preposition to show the relationship between the noun aesthetic and the noun coffee table. Also, for number 1, remember that roommate is one word, but it's putting together the words room and mate. As such, there are two M's. Number 2. The rental lease states that we must pay for utilities, so we keep track of our usage. So first, we have two clauses, and they're both independent clauses with a coordinating conjunction in the middle. Because we have that coordinating conjunction there in the middle, that's why we have this comma right before it. Both of these sentences are independent because both of them would make sense by themselves. The rental lease for the first clause here. This is the subject. States is the main verb. There's only one rental lease, so we're applying the third person singular rule, adding the S here. Then we have a that clause that we must pay for utilities. But for some that clauses, we can actually drop this if we wanted to. So the grammar would still be okay if we said the rental lease states we must pay for utilities and we took this out, that would still make sense. So sometimes you like to do this to add emphasis on whatever this clause says. Utilities is a tricky word for spelling because there are so many I's. So split it up into 3 parts, uti, lit, is, like that. And each part has its own I. So you remember there are 3 I's and you can remember the placement of them. Moving on to the next clause, we is the subject. And because this is plural, keep doesn't have an S on it. This is the verb. And keep track is a really common collocation in English. These two words come together very often. When two words come together like glue in a lot of sentences, we call it a collocation of our usage. And so usage is a noun, and so it's trying to tell us the relationship using that preposition. Number 3, the layout and ambiance of the apartment is perfect for hosting guests. The layout and ambiance, so one and ambiance, these two things, we have a conjunction there of the apartment. So even though there are two things, they're both adjectives of one thing. So it's actually treated as a singular subject. And it's telling us what the noun is, like the relationship between the apartment and these two nouns, the layout and the ambiance. Is our singular form of be because we're treating these two things as one thing. The adjective perfect And then perfect for what? Hosting guests. And here we have a gerund because it's treated like a noun. Number 4, after the renovations, the house maintained its quaint charm. So here we have two clauses. We're starting with a subordinating conjunction after, right in the beginning. And then we have an independent clause here because we know that we have the subject, verb, and object of the sentence. And so because we have a subordinating conjunction to start, we know that this part here is a dependent clause. It could not make sense by itself. And here is our independent. Because we have a dependent clause first and an independent clause second, when the dependent clause is finished, we do need that comma here. However, if it was the other way around, then we no longer need a comma. For spelling, renovations can be tricky. Renovations, like that, would be a good way, or renovations, whatever is better for you to remember. I like to keep reno all together at the beginning because that is a short form of the word renovation. We often say we are doing renos rather than we are doing renovations. Maintained might also be a tricky word. Just remember, this starts with M, but all of this is the exact same as in the second part, with the letter M and T changing. Maintained. And then quaint as well. This one, you just have to remember all of the vowels right in the middle here. It could be quite tricky. But a rule in English, whenever there's a Q, there will always be a U to follow. Always. Finally, we spent the weekend changing the decor in the bedroom. So for this, we is the subject. Spent is the verb in simple past, but we have a T on here because it is irregular. The weekend, that's the object of the sentence. And then we have our main verb here. So over here, we have a gerund, which is a word that looks like a verb but acts like a noun. And then the decor in the bedroom. So changing what? The decor is the noun that follows, but then we're trying to provide even more context. We're using a preposition of place to show the relationship between this noun and this noun. And again, bedroom here is one word. We want to remember that. And weekend, sometimes this could be tricky. Hopefully it is okay at this level, but it's the word week and end together because it comes at the end of a week. So that is a breakdown of some of the spelling tips and tricks and some of the grammar concepts that we see in these sentences. Let's have a closer look at the vocabulary words that are bold. Here are the vocabulary words related to describing your home. We have the words roommate, utilities, rental lease, decor, layout, aesthetic, ambiance, renovations, and quaint. These words are a little bit more advanced or at a higher intermediate level. So if you're able to use these words correctly on a proficiency exam like IELTS, CELPIP, PTE, or TOEFL, then it shows that you have a very good understanding of English vocabulary and a very good range, which will be good for your score so long as you use it correctly. So make sure that you know how to use these words, study the different word forms, make sure you practice putting them in your own sentences, whether you are writing or speaking, and you will get better at using them. Besides that, that's everything for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.